Hello and welcome back to Nerd Doc. This video will recap the plot of Morbius and provide an explanation of the ending. There will be spoilers for Morbius, so if you're trying to avoid being spoiled, you have been warned. If you're looking for the credit scenes, you can find our recap and explanation of both scenes in another video linked in the description below. If you have any questions about the movie or just want to let us know what you thought of it, leave a comment below and we'll answer any questions as best we can. Let's get some of the important stuff out of the way right off the top. Almost all the Spider-Man references you saw in the trailers were removed from the final cut of the film. There's no graffiti on the wall, and the interaction between Vulture and Morbius is gone. But the I Am Venom line remains, indicating that Morbius takes place in the Venom universe, which the director also recently confirmed. Some of the plot snippets you get from the trailers have also been changed or removed. For instance, when Tyrese's character says that Morbius has been missing for 2 months, then appeared on a cargo ship, in the final cut of the film, he was never missing and also wasn't found on the ship. There isn't much to the main plot of Morbius. The film starts in Costa Rica, where you see the scene from the trailer with Morbius at the entrance to a Batcave. From there it goes back in time to Greece, 25 years in the past, with Morbius as a child meeting his best friend Lucian for the first time and giving him the nickname Milo. Both Lucian and Morbius have a rare blood disease and are being taken care of by Emil Nichols. Sony has changed a lot from the comics. In the comics, Emil and his sister, who was never once mentioned in the movie, are Morbius' childhood friends. Lucian doesn't exist in the comics, but is loosely based on Loxias Crown, a villain who Morbius eventually turns into a living vampire. Shifting back to the movie, we now jump ahead to sometime after the Batcave incident, and Morbius now has a lab in Manhattan. He works alongside his colleague, Martine Bancroft, who is Morbius' girlfriend in the comics, and eventually becomes his love interest later in the movie. Morbius splices vampire bat DNA with human DNA to create a serum that eventually turns him into a living vampire. However, before he injects himself, Morbius goes to see his friend Lucian, who is Matt Smith's character. Both Lucian and Morbius have survived for over 25 years with their blood disease, but their time is running out. Lucian comes from a wealthy family and has been funding all of Morbius' research. Since the experiments Morbius is doing are illegal, he takes a cargo ship with an armed crew and travels 13 miles off the coast of New York and into international waters. Once they're in international waters, Martine injects Morbius with the serum and he turns into a living vampire. When the crew gets spooked and tries to stop him, Martine ends up getting knocked out and Morbius kills all of the crew, leaving only Martine alive. After the incident, Lucian visits Morbius in his lab, sees that the serum worked, and pleads with Morbius to give it to him. Due to the living vampire side effects, Morbius refuses, but when another staff member at the lab gets killed by what looks like a vampire attack, the police assume it's Morbius and he's put in jail. At this point in the movie, even Morbius thinks he may have blacked out and killed the staff member. Lucian visits Morbius in jail, drops off some blood for him, and intentionally leaves his walking cane behind. This clue tells Morbius that Lucian snuck into the lab and secretly took the serum. Morbius uses his superhuman strength to break out of jail and confronts Lucian, who admits to killing his staff member. Lucian and Morbius fight throughout the subway before Morbius eventually flies away. Lucian doesn't care about the vampiric side effects and is just happy to be able to walk normally and have all the superhuman abilities. He also doesn't care who he kills, which is why Morbius feels the need to stop him. Lucian seems to want to join forces with Morbius, repeatedly quoting the Spartan line of the few against the many. But throughout the second half of the film, Lucian continually attacks Morbius. His motives are really all over the place. While Lucian wants to join forces, he's also more than willing to kill Morbius, especially if Morbius is going to try to stop him. At the end of the movie, Morbius creates a serum that will kill living vampires. His plan is to use it on Lucian and potentially himself as well. Up until now, Morbius had mainly been drinking synthetic blood that he created years ago. At first, he could last 6 hours before he needed to drink again, but that dropped to 4 hours and 22 minutes in just a matter of days, so it was only a matter of time before he would need to drink human blood again. Lucian kills Emil and kidnaps Martine, mortally wounding her in order to lure out Morbius. Morbius bites Martine to save her life and give himself the strength he needs to fight Lucian. Lucian and Morbius fly around, battling in downtown Manhattan, before eventually dropping into the sewers. When it looks like Morbius is losing, he summons a horde of bats who he is now able to control. Earlier in the movie, he developed an almost kinship with the bats, to which the natural evolution of that is his ability to now control them with a combination of hand movements and sounds. Morbius uses the bats to pin down Lucian and injects him with the fatal serum. He then flies back to the rooftop where he left Martine as she wakes up as a living vampire. While it's only hinted that she's a living vampire, since she was bitten by Morbius and seemingly dead, and also turns into a vampire in the comics, it's a safe bet that she's now a living vampire just like Morbius. That wraps up the plot and ending of Morbius. Once again, if you want to know about the post-credit scenes, you can find a link to that video below. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves Sony Marvel movies.